Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are taking a truly mind-bending journey. We're going to scale all the way from the macro-level architecture of the cosmos right down to the micro-level biology of your own body. Specifically, your breath. We're going to explore the hidden structures of reality, how the universe is actually built, and how you have a literal gateway to it residing right inside your chest. Okay, let's dive right into this. Have you ever actually considered that the solid, three-dimensional world you interact with every single day isn't the whole picture? I mean, modern science and ancient traditions are both starting to point toward this one fascinating idea. The physical matter we touch, see, and feel, it's actually a brilliant illusion. What if everything around you is just a lower dimensional shadow cast by something far more complex? Well, to figure out how to unlock our own potential, we first have to totally redefine the playground. Section 1. Beyond the 3D illusion.
So let's look at the actual mechanics of our physical universe. Imagine for a second a completely flat two-dimensional world, kind of like a flatland. If a 3D sphere suddenly passed through that world, the 2D folks living there would only see a flat circle that magically grows and shrinks, right? They literally wouldn't have the senses to perceive the whole sphere. Well, we are exactly like those inhabitants, just in 3D. The sacred geometric patterns we find across ancient traditions are actually lower dimensional projections of higher dimensional entities. Our ordinary senses just cannot perceive the full multidimensional structure. And when it comes to matter, physical reality is essentially just light that has crystallized. It's energy vibrating in a very specific state of materialization.
Section 2. Divine Pact Thought Forms. Now, physical matter is really just crystallized light. What exactly makes up this underlying matrix of energy? Well, modern physics tells us that light exists as both a particle and an energy wave, which sets the ultimate speed limit for the physical plane. I mean, Einstein's E equals mc³ basically proves that physical mass and energy are directly linked by light. But this isn't just a modern science thing. Ancient wisdom has been telling us this for millennia. Think about the book of Genesis. Let there be light. In esoteric traditions, when consciousness is experienced externally, it shows up as light. And when light is experienced internally, it is consciousness. They are fundamentally intertwined. So the crucial point here is that those geometric symbols we see carved into ancient Egyptian temples or drawn by mystics, like the point in the center of a circle or the flower of life, they aren't just pretty pieces of art. They are packed thought forms. They come directly from the divine mind, acting as the original blueprints that contain the structural codes of literally all creation. When you visualize or interact with these forms, you are literally interfacing with the blueprint of the universe. Now that we've grasped the vast cosmic scale of light and geometry, let's zoom the narrative all the way into your own human biology. Section 3. The heart's torus field. Now, what's really interesting is this staggering number, 40,000. For centuries, Western science basically viewed the heart as just a mechanical pump for blood, right? But the relatively new field of neurocardiology has discovered that the heart possesses its own independent nervous system. It has over 40,000 sensory neurons. It essentially acts as a localized brain. It can sense, process information, make decisions, and even learn and remember, completely independent of the brain in your head. And this biological distinction perfectly mirrors a really profound spiritual truth. The brain in your head operates entirely on duality. It's literally split into two hemispheres. Its whole job is to analyze, categorize, separate, and judge. It keeps us totally anchored in dualistic separation. But the heart is a singular central organ. It operates on unity consciousness. It doesn't judge, it synthesizes. The heart is the true center of your energetic grid, acting as a gateway to overcome all that separation and connect directly with the divine. And the way the heart connects to this universal energy is through a shape known as a torus. If you're picturing it, a torus looks a bit like an apple or a donut. Energy flows in through the top, down the center, and then spirals back out around the bottom. It is a completely self-organizing energy system. And this exact geometric pattern is mirrored everywhere in the universe, from the magnetic field of the Earth to the structure of entire galaxies, all the way down to atoms. And get this. You have two of these massive toroidal energy fields generating right from your physical heart, right inside your chest, constantly linking you to the universal source. Section 4. 0-point centering. So how do we actually tap into this? To perceive the invisible matrix of energy underlying our reality initiates use a very specific practical methodology. Step 1 is called zero-point centering. Normally, to survive in a 3D world, our attention has to move outward through our senses. Zero-point centering asks you to reverse that flow. You pull your attention deeply and quietly inward, right into the center of your heart's energy, until you touch that zero-dimensional point, the singularity, the divine core. Once you hit that core, you trigger step 2, which is radiance. This is where that activated energy naturally countermoves, bursting outward in an expanding sphere of light in all directions, exactly like a radiant sun. It's this perfect balance of inward contraction and outward expansion.
Section 5. The breath of life.
And this brilliantly illustrates the connection between spirit and science. Let's talk about the most tangible tool you have, your breath. When you use a specific breathing technique, you enter a state called psychophysiological coherence. Research by the Institute of HeartMath actually shows that when you maintain positive emotions and breathe rhythmically, your heart rate variability, your blood pressure, and your respiration all sync up into perfect, measurable harmony. This isn't just about feeling relaxed. It's an energized, highly focused state where your heart physically becomes the gateway to expand your awareness into higher realms. Let's consciously slow things down for a moment here. There's an exact breathing rhythm required to achieve that coherence, and it's called the breath of life. Imagine doing this with me. You take a nice, slow, deep inhale for exactly 7 seconds, drawing in pure energy. Then, you hold that breath at the very top for 3 seconds, letting it completely coalesce. And then, as you exhale, you don't just lazily push the air out, you actively visualize weaving that breath directly into your heart center. You are anchoring it there. But honestly, the breathing alone is only half the equation. To truly activate your mind with open love and lock in that psychophysiological coherence, you have to combine the physical rhythm with 4 core affirmations. They are, I love myself, I trust myself, I honor myself, and I value myself. The practice is that you say the affirmation, you feel exactly where it lands in your body, and then you use that exhale breath to literally weave the energy of those words out of your head, out of your gut, and securely into your heart's toroidal field. This combination alters your vibration instantly. So we've explored the grand illusions of the 3D world, the divine blueprints of sacred geometry, and the astonishing hidden mechanics of your own heart. Now the choice is entirely up to you. Will you take just 3 minutes today to use this breath, anchor love into your core, and consciously alter your reality? The universe is waiting. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.